All right, Shalom Israel, we back. All right, and we was in verse 12 in Ezekiel. We still in Ezekiel 43, verse 13. All right, in verse 13, he says, "And these are the measures of the altar after the cubits. The cubit is a cubit and a handbreadth. Even the bottom shall be a cubit, and the breadth a cubit, and the border thereof by the edge thereof round about shall be a span. And this shall be the higher place of the altar." All right. So we was just showing the measurements of the higher place of the altar, right? And verse 14. "And from the bottom upon the ground even to the lower settle shall be 2 cubits, and the breadth of 1 cubit, and the breadth of 1 cubit, and from the lesser settle to and from the lesser settle even to the greatest settle shall be 4 cubits, and the breadth of 1 cubit." Verse 15, "And the altar shall be 4 cubits, and from the altar and upward shall be 4 horns." Right? The altar shall be 4 cubits, and from the altar upward 4 horns. Right? And the altar shall be 12 cubits long, 12 abroad, square in the 4 squares thereof. So it's gonna be 12 cubits long, 12 abroad, square in the 4 corners, 4 squares thereof. 17. "And the saddle shall be 14 cubits long, and 14 abroad, and in the 4 squares thereof the border about it shall be a half a cubit, and the bottom thereof shall be a cubit about, and his stairs shall look towards the east." So the stairs gonna look towards the east. All right. And I want to bring out a couple of definitions real quick before I keep going any farther. All right. So bear with me for 1 second, please. All right. I went to the definition and I got the definition for the word altar. And it says a raised place on which sacrifices were offered to a deity or ancestor, of which on incense was buried. The table in a church for the celebration of the Eucharist. Right? So the altar is a place which sacrifices were offered to a deity or an ancestor. That's what an altar is, right? And now I'm gonna go right into this next definition, the cubit. All right, because I want people to have good understanding. All right, before we move any forward, I want to show what the altar, the cubit, the hand, breadth, the border, span, the horn, the breadth, and the blemish is. All right. So right now we're gonna go into the cubit, and it says an ancient liner unit based on the length of the forearm. So it's a liner that's based on the length of a forearm. That's a cubit, the length of a forearm. All right. Hand breadth, right? The hand breadth, a measure of 4 fingers, 4 fingers, right? A measure of 4 fingers equal to about 4 inches. Any of various units of length varying from about 2.5 to 4 inches. All right. So that's what a hand breadth is. It's the measurement is about 4 fingers, right? Varying from 2.5 to 4 inches. All right. Now the border, right? The border, the outer part of anything. A border is the outer part of anything, as a garment, country, etc. That's a border, right? It's the outer part of whatever, anything almost. Span, the space between the point of a person's thumb to that of the little finger when the hand is spread. So when the hand is spread, right? He say, taken as 9 inches a short space of time, the total stretch, the extent or reach of anything, the portion contained between limits of time, a space of time, limits of space of time, right? So a span, right, is is the it's taking us what, about 9 inches a short span of time, total stretch, extent, or reach of anything, the portion contained between limits of space of time. They say it's like from the little finger when it's spread from the thumb to the little finger. That's like a span. But we all know what a span is, right? But I just want to go into these definitions so we have complete understanding. Maybe it's people who don't know this. But horns, a hard project appendage growing on the hands of certain animals, on the heads, of certain animals, as cattle, goats, and deer, the material of which such horns are composed, a wind instrument, mold, mold of horn, now of brass, made of horn, now of brass, the French horns, something similar to a horn,